So we would like to get started with, does Australia have a governing body similar to the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, that we have here in the States?
Yes, we have the TGA, which is the Therapeutic Goods Administration, and they do a similar thing to the FDA as far as drugs are concerned, but they don't go quite as far as and do as much with food and water. That seems to be left more to local bodies to do the work at the coalface with iceworks or cafes, restaurants, those types of things.
So that would be like a city, or, we have city government, we have county, and then we go up to state and then federal. What level would you say that gets involved in, the regulation of
city
water?
government?
City government. Okay. We just happened to have our last nugget, Geoff.
Yep.
We had Fred Lomangino come on with Ice King and cold storage. And he just had an audit. Somebody came by for the FDA. And ironically enough, I was just having a conversation with someone else because I kind of made a slight joke at the end of it. I was like,
Right.
are we putting people on the radar here to, have the FDA come out? And I'm afraid I'm throwing a bullseye out there. So, but that went well as we know it at the moment. I think they're still waiting to hear the results, but everything went well with that. So
so the FDA has not normally had a history of doing that, and in fact,
to our knowledge, right? Yeah.
Right. In fact, the person that Ethan's referring to, the auditor came in and asked questions to try and decide if they even had jurisdiction to audit them. And that was still a question mark. So I think with RFK Jr., there's been some changes and they're trying to do good things, and maybe sometimes they're not exactly sure what they're supposed to do.
Well, and we'll get into this. We know that you're in the plastic, so we'll do a formal introduction here in a second. But do you wish that they were more involved at the city level coming around, or are they very highly involved when it comes to water and ice production?
No, they're not involved with water and ice production at all. There are national standards for water, food, but then it's left to the councils to enforce those regulations that the federal government's brought in.
Okay, so if somebody's not carrying a big stick, then I guess it may not be adhered to.
Some of the councils can be very officious about how they do it. They get really down on people, and they close businesses down for cleanliness, not handling food correctly. So there is quite a bit. It does come down to local level, but boy, they can be a real pain in the backside.
Right.
So for our audience, obviously you've picked up on that we're talking to someone from Australia today. And I didn't really plan this, but I thought about today, we're recording this on Wednesday afternoon. We started at 4 p.m. Geoff, tell us what time it is over there.
It's 7 a.m. in Melbourne. Yeah.
Good day.
On Thursday.
All right.
Right. So for the first time ever,
time travel,
BTI is interviewing somebody from the future.
That's right. That's right. Right. We do appreciate you rising early for us. We did ask you right before you came in, do you normally rise this early? Because, and again, we'll get further into it, but just thank you for getting up early for us today.
That's
so
right.
Geoff Turner,
we have got our hedges being trimmed this morning. The crew is due here at 7:30, so hopefully you won't hear any noise from them.
It'll be fine. Geoff Turner is our guest today. He is the executive officer at the PIAA, or they sometimes say the PIAA. He is fairly new to the role and took over from Gary Wing, which might be a more a name that people recognize. Gary used to be in this role and retired just a couple of years ago, and Geoff has done a wonderful job taking over for him. His experience was as a vendor in the industry. He served as a supplier rep for several years, and he was a bag manufacturer for the ice industry and other industries, and we'll give him a chance to talk about that a little bit as we talk to him today. The PIAA is actually the Packaged Ice Association of Australasia. I don't know why I just blanked out on that. They are a similar organization to our ice associations here in the U.S. They are a collection of manufacturers, ice making equipment, suppliers, everybody that works with the ice industry throughout Australia, New Zealand, Asia, and the South Pacific. So welcome to BTI, Geoff, and good day. We want to give you a chance to tell us about the upcoming PIAA convention that will be coming up here soon.
Yes, it's due to start on the 1st of September in Adelaide in South Australia. And we've got guest speakers organised. We have suppliers who will also be doing presentations at the conference. And we'll also have some fun along the way. We're doing a factory tour of a ice manufacturer. Sorry, not an ice manufacturer, a plastic bag manufacturer, Wing Plastics. And then on Friday, it'll be a social day, which is a bus tour of the McLaren Vale area, seeing some of the sites and calling in on a couple of wineries, one of which will offer wine tasting or spirit tasting, because they also have a distillery on site.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you a question.
We're going to interesting day.
Yeah. So, we've got icebreakers that we want to just kind of bring up to you. So our first icebreaker. So Americans coming to the PIAA. I've always said PIAA. Don't know why, but no, I can learn, Geoff. So anyway, as far as I've kind of heard that they get treated like a rock star. I mean, are Americans invited to be able to come, or anybody else around the world to the PIAA?
Anyone's welcome.
Right. Do they get treated like a rock star? Geoff said he did. So
Geoff, yeah. He's been coming for a few years, and I think his head might have swollen a little bit.
I could see that. I could see that sometimes.
I am just saying the Australian folks are fantastic hosts. They are very welcoming. There is no shortage of beer buying when I go out and meet these folks, and everyone's just so welcoming and encouraging, and they would love to have more suppliers or icemen come and if they could just make their convention a little later and a little later each year, eventually the icemen might take them up on that.
How many years in a row? Go ahead, Geoff. And see, I can't say Geoff, so maybe I should say Turner. So yeah. What were you going to say?
Call me anything except like for breakfast.
That's right. All right. Well, and it is breakfast time for you, so I won't do that today. So, So I was just kind of curious, Geoff. How many years have you been going to Australia for the conference?
I've been at least 3, maybe 4 years. I
Okay.
should have known the answer to that before getting on this.
That's right. Well, unfortunately, he will not be able to
Yeah.
make it this year. His daughter is getting married, but we will have a representative go in his stead. But with Geoff being on the IPIA committee membership, obviously that you were able to go in a dual role for that. So that's been good.
Mm-hmm.
Let's show some photos of. I think is this from last year. Or just
it's
past
just
years?
a few different pictures from the different years I've been.
There's a few familiar faces in here. I don't know if either one of you guys want to talk to this photo.
Yeah, so if it's hard to see on the screen, Bill Bentley is at the 12 o'clock position on the table there. So a lot of our viewers may recognize them. And then going to the left is Gary Wing, Geoff's predecessor as the executive director. And then Geoff has his back to us. And then Mitch is from Adelaide. I don't remember Mitch's last name. Mick
Leithborough.
And he will give me a hard time for getting his name wrong if he watches this. And then John Swan is the president or chairman of the association, is the final member over there.
Gotcha.
This is leading into one of the outings, one of the social outings.
How much planning goes into it? And I believe it's you're retired, Geoff. So, how much planning do you have to do? To get these hotels and things like that.
We go across. Well, we go across to Adelaide 3 times a year, sometimes more. Anyway, because we've got friends over there and we travel over there to visit them. And, I was able to have a look around at hotels and venues in Adelaide to find one that was suitable for this year's coming conference.
Mm-hmm.
This gentleman looks like the second, looks like Paul Hogan, by the way. So when I first saw it, I was like the crocodile hunter himself, but he does have a striking resemblance here. And I believe this is your wife. Is that correct?
Yep, it certainly is.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that a little bit later as well. But what type of tour was this?
This was a boat tour.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the Tweed River, that particular one, up on the Gold Coast.
Kind of blend together after a while, but we always have a lot of fun. So,
definitely looks like it. So it looks like you were setting up a little bit. And you said this was on a river?
The river also heads out to the Pacific Ocean.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I think this is a different trip in this picture. I think this is...
That may be Cairns. Well, we're going out to Green Island.
Yep. And Geoff and Gary hard at work.
That's right. Solving the world's problem down under. And I do recognize this guy mainly because he's got a disgusting shirt on with a big crimson A. I don't know if you understand the plight of football, Americanized football. So here, but I'm not an Alabama fan. So anyway, that's the reason I'm making fun of his shirt.
So on that note, Geoff, I'm going to jump ahead and actually ask you a different icebreaker question that I had for you. We've been watching the World Cup, as I'm sure most of the world has. And of course, Americans call it soccer and everybody else calls it football.
So
and when I was looking at your information online, I saw that you are a fan of the Carlton Football Club.
Correct.
And so I was interested to see what that was. And it doesn't look like soccer and it doesn't look like American football.
No, it certainly is not. It's Australian rules football.
Australian.
So we have our own football. completely different to anywhere else in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people call it aerial ping pong.
Okay.
I have to say, of all the ones that we've just talked about, whether it's American football, whether it's soccer or rugby, when it comes to this, rugby seems like the toughest. I mean, you got to be a tough hombre to get to play that sport, because it looks like soccer until they bang into each other. Then it looks like football, but you don't have the pads like you do and the helmets and everything.
Right.
I mean, you got to be a serious character if you're going to jump off into that world. So, did you play growing up?
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
What was the
Certainly
worst
did.
injury you ever sustained?
Broken finger.
Broken finger, is that it? Okay. I mean, I feel like a separated shoulder is the minimum you got to have, right?
When you get a very wet football and it gets very heavy and it gets mud on it, and you've got a freezing cold day, when that ball hits your hands, if you haven't got them in the right place, broken fingers are a common
snap, crackle,
that's
pop.
The worst injury that I had as football was concerned.
Yeah, I mean, but injuries seem to be common. I would think, or I guess if you do it properly. I mean, it's just like a proper tackle in football, but there's always chances. You're going to get a blown knee or whatever.
You know what I love though
Yes.
about watching a tough sport like that is, at least when I've watched, there's not all this flopping around like we've watched with the World Cup this past month, where somebody just
diving is
somebody just looks in your direction
ordinary.
and you're acting like you're gonna die.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the speed that Australian rules football is played at now, it's just it's frightening in some regards, because they hit at such speed. The rugby players look like they're standing still by comparison.
Yeah, it's just the level of athlete at every level. I mean, has just increased. The way that they take care of the bodies, the way that again, the way that they train, all those things. It can be dangerous for sure to get into. So I am still amazed that you've only broken a finger. So that's still I would have thought.
Yes, but I caused a lot of other people's injuries.
I got you.
More, broken arms, dislocated shoulders.
Oof.
There's so much discussion here, obviously with football. I mean, even soccer, boxing. Is CTE, as far as brain injuries, things like that, is that a highly debated item around rugby?
Rugby, yes, and Australian rules football as well. The league is trying to mitigate head clashes with rules, because CTE has become a very big issue. There's have been a couple of legal cases already about it, and no doubt in the future there'll be even more with CTE.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Yeah. So jumping back into work and everything, do you have any future plans to visit? Are you coming to the IPIA, or is that in your future?
Yes, that is. I would more than love to come and visit the IPIA. I've heard so much about it over the years, because I've been on and off a member of the Ice Association for around 30 years through my working history. So, yeah, I'm very keen to get over there at some stage.
Yep. Well, this year it's going to be in Tampa Bay, which is in Florida. And next year it'll be a little more on the western side of the states. So I don't know if you'd rather wait until it's going to be.
You're traveling that far. It doesn't matter where you go.
So I'm trying to decide if that's public knowledge yet or not. But I'll just say it'll be closer to Australia next year.
Well, you're not giving too much away. I mean, because you're talking about being on pretty much the East Coast. I mean, you're on the West Coast of Florida, but it's It's the East Coast on the United States. So for sure. So no, we would love to get you to come over and be able to participate. I know on the last nugget that we had, I think I prematurely said that the registration was open. Is it open yet, Geoff?
Yes.
All right. So the
IPIA registration's open, and the PIAA registration is well underway. If you haven't signed up, Geoff would love for you to get your registration in so he can make all the arrangements, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's starting to get now to the nitty-gritty end where you've got to start paying money and putting in numbers for catering and transport and everything else. So, yeah, it's
Share a little bit with us about the membership of the PIAA. How many companies are from other areas around Australia or outside of Australia and that kind of thing?
ice manufacturers outside of Australia. We don't have any other than New Zealand. We have five companies in New Zealand who are members of the Ice Association, and the balance of our members are Australian, of course. And then we have overseas members from the US, being suppliers to the industry. And this year we have one coming from Spain.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. But he's working for an American company, of course.
Yeah. And then you have at least one company from Tasmania that I can think of. You guys usually think of Tasmania as part of Australia. Is that right?
Yeah, it just hangs off the bottom there, but
you'll claim it or just ignore them?
We claim it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you will, let's talk about your former career, and if you can tell us a little bit about that. A company called PolyWrap. So we're going to pull up the website for that, but tell us, what your career was like prior to being semi-retired, and in the role that you are today.
Well, at PolyWrap, I was sales manager and operations. So I looked after running the business almost It was a full-time job, of course, and it was both looking after the major customers and also developing products and testing new materials and new products.
Yeah. How big a business was the ice side of it? And then a side question would be, what was the challenges of being in the ice versus some of the other verticals?
Ice is a product that needs to be frozen, of course. So the product that it gets packed in has to be durable, flexible, and lightweight. And that's to put it inside the freezer, it's got to go into extremes of temperature, and some materials just don't survive in those types of environments.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to make the right material to suit the machinery that it's going on and the way that the end user will treat the product. So you've got to get a product that works to both those extremes. Because I don't know whether people in the States do the exact same thing as they do here, but they get a bag of ice out of the ice box. They throw it on the ground to break it up a little bit, and then they throw it into their ice box.
Right.
We get even crazier here at the conventions. We toss them, see how far they'll go. So, and give prizes for that. So, the durability part of it. So, would you say of all the industries that you supplied bags to, the ice industry had to be the most durable, or was that just because, or was the challenge making it light and durable?
Light, durable, and to suit the machinery, because there's varying types of machinery that are used by ice people. They're not all using the exact same machine. It could be parts of two different machines that they're using, and you've got to have a bag that can just be used on theirs and the guy 60 kilometres down the road who's using a different hybrid machine.
Ethan, we do have a couple pictures that Geoff shared that kind of show a couple different things from his working days at PolyWrap. And so Ethan's going to pull them up. We can see Geoff hard at work selling his bags in this first one back in the day.
Yes, that was an ice conference in Sydney, I think.
Okay.
That's not one of PolyWrap's machines.
Okay.
That's a 3-layer coax machine at a former employer called Apex Films. That is one of PolyWrap's products.
And I think that one is Lidcombe Ice.
Lidcombe Ice in Sydney.
Yeah. And then Jumbo Ice.
North Aussie Ice in Broome in Western Australia. Yeah.
All right. And then is this the
ice?
The layout, the scheme, I guess,
that's
before
the artwork.
Yeah. Okay.
For the bag. So, and then we also did potting mix, bags, or film that was filmed for a form film machine on that particular artwork.
All right.
Another potting mix, but again, a form filled product. And the Royal Botanic Gardens in Sydney.
Yeah. Some very beautiful colors mixing and everything. That's awesome.
How much did you get into the artwork, or did you have a team to do that? Because you sound like you did quite a bit of things, but maybe you were just on the
artwork. I would work with the manufacturer that the product was going to. They would submit the artwork, then I would pass it on to the plate maker and then get alterations done from there.
All right. Cool.
Well, let's jump over into friends and family. So got a few photos. So tell us a little bit about the photo that is coming up right now.
That was Christmas Day in Palm Cove.
Now think about Christmas Day for us is freezing.
Sunny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Christmas Day for them is like almost the 4th of July. So, yeah. Yeah,
that still kind of wrecks my brain a little bit, you know, when you think about that. So, So, I mean, it's obviously warm for you guys.
Yeah, we're at the opposite end of the season. We're celebrating Christmas to when you guys are. So it's
So who are we seeing here?
I pulled that one off of Facebook or somewhere. So
that's family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that was friends at a gathering over in South Australia from the memory.
All right.
How long does it take if you wanted to fly just for the folks? I think I know the answer to this question because my daughter had just done an internship there in Australia and also New Zealand. But how long does it take you to get to some of these places? Or if you were to fly from one coast, fly, from the East Coast to the West Coast versus north south?
3 hours,
Okay.
east west, and depending on how far north you go, 3 hours. Well, 2.5 anyway. Because of course, Australia is wider than it is tall.
Right. And is this common? Because I'm afraid I would be. Yeah.
That's a southern rock lobster, otherwise known as a crayfish here.
Okay.
And that's my father about to demolish that.
He looks excited.
Yes, he is a crayfish master eater, or he was, I should say.
Now, do you have to get out hammers and some crowbars to get into these suckers? Or
No.
Okay, pretty easy to get into.
Only the legs and the antennae.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right. Yeah, I think
Very
that's
cool.
all the photos there.
So those were our pictures of family and friends, and in a few minutes we'll take a look at some other pictures that you sent us as well. I wanted to ask, since taking on this role, you have joined the international committee of the IPIA,
Yep.
and of course you don't attend in person, but we have calls a couple times a year, 2 or 3 times a year, I think, that international members can
3-4 times a year. Yeah.
And just talk about that a little bit as far as what it means to you, what your experience has been, and that kind of thing.
It's always good to hear what's happening in other countries around the world. Everyone experiences, in the ice industry anyway, they either have similar issues or completely different, depending on the climate that they're operating in.
Mm. Yeah, I think it's surprising to icemen sometimes how different the business could be, but the challenges might be the same or things like that.
Yeah.
When I've been there at the convention in Australia, one of the things that surprises me is it seems like Australian icemen are a lot of times they're struggling with the problems that I could see coming down the road for American companies later, like regulations or power, energy demands and stuff like that. I could see those things coming down the road for us here, but Australia is having to tackle them first, or maybe sometimes Europe is having to tackle those things first. And I think it's cool that we can learn from each other.
Yes. Yeah. We do have our challenges.
Well, with you being the director for the last past couple of years, what do you see or what would you like? What do you envision the future looks like for the ice industry there?
That's going to be a hard one because it's a changing environment as far as ice is concerned. Some companies are growing larger, and that's causing its issues, as America's seen with Ready Ice and others, as when they grew and expanded, and national contracts being awarded by national suppliers to the supply of ice. So that starts to limit where the smaller players can deliver their ice to.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. I mean, at the scale of what a larger company is able to do, and but then the smaller folks tend to be more nimble, right? Being able to make quicker decisions. But yeah, I can see that. I mean, what you just echoed, or as you already aptly put, is challenges that's being faced here in the States as well. And obviously, future with automation. I assume you guys have ice plants, increasing the automation of their ice plants and the productions, things like that, to be able to, somewhat reduce some of the costs from the workforce, but also be able to improve cleanliness, because if you can reduce the amount of hands that are being touching of it, then you can hopefully make it cleaner. So would you say that that was an accurate statement that I made?
Yes. Yeah. The ice is basically from the time that it leaves the ice maker and into the bag, it's untouched by human hands. I don't think there's anywhere other than the little backyard ice bagger that's using something that they're hand loading into the bag.
Mm-hmm.
It's all machine driven.
Yeah. All right. So we've got some travel pictures that we want to share, and some of these are from Australia, I believe, and some of them are other places. So do you recognize this one?
That's the Cathedral Mountains, or you'd only call them hills there because they're quite short.
Well, not in the state of Alabama. We'd still call this one a mountain, but I do know as far as the United States at large, I do understand what you're saying. But it's beautiful up there. Is this a ridge, or is that like a bluff, and then it's like a mesa?
Ridge.
Okay, it is a ridge.
Yeah.
What part? So where did you say
it's
this
in
was?
Victoria. It's about an hour and a half from Melbourne. Yeah. And that was a drone photograph that I'd taken just after I got my first drone.
Okay.
All right. How big are you into drone flying?
Not huge. It's used on holidays mainly to take shots that you can't do while you're just standing on a bridge, for example. You can be taking one from the ocean back to the bridge to see how big the bridge actually is.
With the United States, with drone flying, I have a drone as well, and I don't fly it as much as I want to. And then when I think about it, it's not with me. So it's like, I don't want to carry a drone everywhere I go. So, I mean, I know some of them get smaller, but the FAA here, they require registration, or there's certain restrictions. I assume you got something similar there. You can't fly it over a certain height.
Yep. You've got height restrictions on the flying. You've also got restricted zones, so you can't fly it around certain infrastructure, dams, some power generation. It's all varied, but you soon know about it with the software that the drone has, that you're in a restricted area.
Oh, the software will tell you. Okay. I didn't realize that.
All right.
And tell us about this one.
That's the Pink Lake, which is between Melbourne and the border to South Australia.
All right.
I would say, how did it get its name? But I think I'm pretty good on how it got its name. But what makes it pink?
Salt Lake.
Okay, so Salt Lake. So just that. So it looks like maybe with a foot or dug down a little bit, so it gets pinker, or gets lighter or more white as it comes to the top.
Under the surface or the crust of the ice is that pink color, which comes from an algae.
Okay.
Yep. Which causes the pink color.
All right.
That one's in Kakadu in the Northern Territory.
Kakadu. They have all kinds of fun names in Australia.
Yeah. That one's in Macau at my nephew's wedding.
Oh, very cool. All right.
The Great Wall of China.
Yeah, how far did you go along the wall? Because I've never been to the Great Wall of China. I would like to go, but I really don't know. Are there only certain sections? How far can you walk on the Great Wall of China? I was just kind of curious if you
Well,
could
they
give
run
us
a marathon on the Great
No
Wall
way.
Wall,
Really?
and it's only one way,
Oh, wow.
start to finish. So, but some of the steps on the Great Wall are huge. They can be above your knee height. So
Okay.
you've really got to step up.
They weren't following some standard American regular step size.
Yeah, the ADA compliance was not a thing back then. So
No. And there were drains that you have to step over, and it can be quite challenging,
Mhm.
especially
how long
when
were
you're
you guys
short.
there?
We were only there for a few hours on the Great Wall at the section we went to. Yep. That one.
Do you recognize that one? You're at the back of the boat.
Yeah, I'm at the back of the boat. Well, actually the front of the boat.
Oh, is that the front? Okay.
I think. Or maybe it was the back. I don't know. And that's near our friend's property in South Australia.
And this last one, I will say, my wife is a big Disney fan. This looks like something they would put in Animal Kingdom at Disney World, and because we try to make things, but I'm pretty sure this is not constructed by humans. Is it?
It's a termite mound.
That's what I was
wow.
thinking. Yeah. So
And they build them big
they
in
built
the
them
Northern
big.
Territory.
Wow.
And they're directional so that they get the maximum heat into the mound.
Really?
And it's cooling. So they're very smart.
Oh, that's crazy. I mean, just what nature can do, and it's just always fascinating to do. I've not had an opportunity. I've got a couple of teammates I played tennis with in college that live in Australia. I've been wanting to go many years, but the conference that you guys have had has always been right when school has started. For my kids and everything. So my wife has wanted me to be around to be able to assist with that, but I'm about aged out of kids being in school. So hopefully get an opportunity to come visit you, Geoff, and be able to go out and you can show me the ventilated directional termite mounds one day. So I look forward to doing that. So, our last question for you would be, if you had advice to give to ICE companies in 2026, going into 2027, what advice would you give, in the role that you are, that you have now?
Join the PIAA.
There you go. Right. Go, and you can come with me and we'll go look at termite mounds and all sorts of stuff. So, but yeah, join the PIAA there.
Yep. Yeah. I think certainly ICE at the moment in Australia is challenging for a number of reasons, one of which is the price of diesel for delivering their ice, because we've been hit fairly hard here because not being able to we don't have our own petroleum industry in Australia anymore. We only refine some here and we import the rest.
Let me tap into what you just said. You said you don't have. I don't want to assume. Okay, so why do you only do the refining of imports? So why do you not have your own production there any longer?
Governments in Australia have.
Enough said. That's all. That's really all I want. That's where I was going with that question. So it's not like you don't have the opportunity to have oil, whether it's offshore or onshore, but governmental restrictions. Is that right?
Yeah. Their exploration has been cut back to zero, basically. So they're not promoting the fact that there could be oil there, and we could get it and use it, but yeah.
But you're importing it, and so you're importing something that costs the consumer more money, and then you're refining it, obviously. So you bring in the raw crude, but I mean, you're still getting the ramifications of the carbon emissions because you're still burning it there. You're just not pulling it out of your own ground.
No, we're not pulling it out of the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for letting me dive into that real quick. I was just kind of curious. Yeah.
Refineries than we have now. They're very few and far between because we're just not pulling it out of the earth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well,
but we get more gas out of the earth than petroleum.
Interesting. Well, do you want to close this out, Geoff?
Yeah. So thank you so much, Geoff, for getting up early and spending some of your morning with us and sharing a little bit about the ice industry in Australia. And we've been coming at you from the RouteMan studios here at KCS headquarters in Pelham, Alabama. Thanks so much for being with us, Geoff.
Thank you, Geoff.
Thank you.